The Crown Prince of Beijing got into a car accident, messed up his head, and became an idiot. I was forced into an early engagement with him. The old man of the family said, "If I can get pregnant, I'll be rewarded with 300 million. On our wedding night, I looked at this idiot who was ignoring me in my seductive, breezy nightgown. Completely absorbed in playing with his Ultraman on the bed, and I couldn't stand it. I snatched the Ultraman figure, stuffed it into my collar, and smirked enticingly. If you can find it, it's yours. The thing is, Caspian Lu's mind might be damaged, but his body is anything but. Shoulders as broad as the Pacific Ocean, a lean greyhound waist, and perfectly defined muscles. One look and you could tell his stamina was beastly. He was clearly the type of man who could relentlessly wear someone out without mercy. Yet now, that young, captivating physique was being controlled by a foolish mind, only interested in playing with Ultraman. I gently tugged at the dark red lace nightgown I was wearing. The neckline was dazzlingly deep, my pale skin almost reflective. And yet, he didn't spare me a single glance. I am Alara Meng, beautiful face, perfect figure. Turning men's heads wherever I go. When have I ever been ignored like this? I snatched the Ultraman figure from his hand and stuffed it straight down my collar. The fabric was thin, and the hard, sharp toy poked my skin stinging. Want it back? I beckoned, smiling wickedly. Then come and get it yourself. Caspian finally looked up, his thick lashes framing eyes as clear as a puppy's. His gaze fell to my collar, lingering for a long, long time, full of a lost yearning. I intentionally leaned lower, the neckline dipping even more, a sensual invitation. Keep looking. His Adam's apple bobbed, his eyes fixed on the deepest part. I flushed, my chest heaving. Found it yet? Rad. He maintained his deadpan expression and uttered one word, a word that nearly made me melt. I almost collapsed right there, but I managed to keep teasing him. Wrong, it's pink. He frowned, seriously refuting me. Transforming Ultraman is red. I swear I wanted to punch him until he was red, but then I looked at his enticing body and thought about the 300 million about to land in my hands, and my anger suddenly vanished. You've seen it now. My voice softened, my fingers tracing the edge of my collar, guiding his gaze. Don't you want to take it out yourself? I walked barefoot on the carpet, slowly approaching him. The hem of my nightgown swaying gently with each step. Caspian's gaze darkened, whether because of me or that damned Ultraman, I couldn't tell. But when he started walking toward me, I seriously wanted to bow down and worship that Ultraman figure. Closer and closer, Caspian leaned down, his ink-black eyes glued to my collar. His warm breath fanned across my collarbone. It tickled to death. His fingers were long and clean, with distinct knuckles, barely an inch away from that soft place. Just a fraction more and he would have touched that smooth curve. I held my breath, my heart pounding like a war drum. And then that bastard spun around, opened a drawer, and pulled out another Ultraman figure. Damn it. Back when he was normal, his constant cold face drove me crazy. Now that he's an idiot, he's somehow found a way to be twice as infuriating. Fine Caspian, you just wait. For 300 million, I'm willing to play dirty. Tonight, even if I have to go full auto pilot, I will get him into bed. The Lu family and the Meng family are old acquaintances. Caspian and I were practically childhood sweethearts. But this bastard always seemed to despise my carefree, rich second-generation lifestyle. I'd throw parties and drink myself silly, and he'd sit in the corner, frowning. I'd be laughing brightly in a crowd, and his face would be as dark as the bottom of a pot. What, who needed him? The line of suitors chasing me could stretch from here to Paris. When our families announced the engagement, I wasn't surprised at all. The Lu Corporation and the Meng Corporation, two giants in the new energy sector. A marriage alliance to join forces, it made perfect sense. Besides, I didn't love anyone, so marrying him was the same as marrying anyone else. But I just had to put on a difficult front to annoy him, pretending to be utterly unwilling. I never expected that bastard to play an even bigger hand, directly opposing his father right at the family dinner. I don't agree to this marriage. There's no need to force this. He said such heartless words, yet his back remained ramrod straight. Even his resistance had this alluring, ascetic vibe. Just great, he'd rather sever ties than have me. The problem was, Caspian had started his own company with friends, was financially independent, and wasn't controlled by his father. He had the money and power to be a rebel. Caspian's mother passed away early, and Mr. Lu had no way to control him. If he hadn't crashed his car and smashed his head while racing later, this marriage probably wouldn't have happened until I hit menopause. The doctor said once the blood clot in his brain dissolves, he'll be back to normal. Mr. Lu was impatient. He spoke to me privately. Alara, while he's still slow, hurry up and get pregnant. 300 million, transferred immediately. That face, that body. Just sleeping with him once was already a win, and I'd get 300 million on top of it. How could this be a loss? Most importantly, when he finally wakes up and realizes I played him. The look on his face would be absolutely priceless. Just thinking about it made me burst out laughing. Caspian was still fiddling with his Ultraman by the cabinet. Is Ultraman really that fun to play with? I narrowed my eyes, taking 2 steps closer. He didn't even bother looking up. Fun. I closed my eyes. Patience, I must have patience. I deliberately tugged my nightgown strap down 1/2 centimeter. Well, do you want to play something more exciting? He looked up, his eyes innocent and clear. What? This is it. I spread my arms and lunged at him like a hungry tiger pouncing on its prey. As a result, he sidestepped and started running Parker around the room. He ran, and I chased, until I was dizzy. This bastard. All that great stamina, and he doesn't know how to use it in the right place. He led me around this room in circles a dozen times, not even letting me touch the hem of his shirt. I chased him until I was out of breath, my hair stuck to my flushed face, my nightgown all askew. Stop running. I gasped, hands on my hips. He stood 2 meters away, his hand still clutching that damn toy. You stop chasing. Can't play rough, huh? Fine, you want an endurance match, right? This is ridiculous. As if I'm that desperate to sleep with him. I plopped onto the bed, pulled out my phone, and started playing a game. First blood. The kill announcement rang out from my phone. He glanced at me, his hand still posing the Ultraman. Unbelievable. Other people have passionate wedding nights, but my husband and I, one is glued to a mobile game, the other is absorbed in a toy figure. This marriage is really one of a kind. 2 hours passed. A loud gurgle suddenly echoed in the room. I looked up and saw Caspian clutching his stomach. Only then did I remember this idiot hadn't eaten all day. Half of my anger dissipated. Then I looked at that handsome face, that slim waist with clear abs, and my inner predator awoke. An idea flashed. I dashed to the snack cabinet, made a show of grabbing a yogurt, and then locked the cabinet. Want some? I shook the yogurt container, deliberately peeling the lid back slowly in front of him. Caspian was clearly starving. His eyes were glued to the yogurt in my hand, and he swallowed hard. That bastard, I've never seen him swallow over me, but he gulps for yogurt. So good. I deliberately licked the spoon. Want a taste? He nodded, but his eyes were wary. Come here, I'll feed you. Don't trust you. He took half a step back. I took a deep breath, forcing a fake smile. Okay, how about this? You stand on that side of the bed, and I'll stay on this side, and I'll feed you across the bed. How's that? He tilted his head, thinking for a moment, then slowly walked to the other side of the bed. I braced myself on the edge of the mattress, stretched my arm out, and brought the spoon to his mouth. Caspian also leaned in, tilting his head to take the spoon, his thin lips pursing slightly. His agile tongue darted out, licking it clean. The milky white yogurt clung to his pink tongue. The sight was far too suggestive. I couldn't help but remember what my best friend, Zara Ju, once said. Caspian is the cold on the outside, hot on the inside type. If he kisses you, you won't survive it. I stared at his lips, swallowing hard myself. I really want a bite. My hand didn't stop, I was like a tireless yogurt feeding machine. One spoonful after another. Caspian gradually let his guard down, his eyelids lowered. Obediently opening his mouth to eat. All while looking down to play with his Ultraman. He didn't even notice that I had stealthily swapped the spoon for my finger. He reflexively closed his mouth around my fingertip, his tongue lightly licking the pad. A tingling numbness shot from my finger all the way up my spine, nearly making me moan. Good, the plan is working. Next step, get his pants off. Caspian still hadn't noticed anything unusual, just swallowing spoonful after spoonful of yogurt. With every spoonful I fed him. I slowly crept further onto the bed, striking an ambiguous pose, getting just a little closer. The distance closed to 1/2 meter. Caspian was within reach. The way he focused on licking the yogurt was both innocent and so sensual it made my throat dry. I watched his Adam's apple move with each swallow, and only one thought remained in my mind: time to undo his belt. The yogurt was almost gone. It was all or nothing. My heart leaped into my throat. I used my finger to scoop up the last bit of yogurt and held it to his mouth. The moment Caspian leaned in to lick it, I suddenly pulled my hand back. He instinctively lunged forward, lost his balance and toppled right on top of me. This is my chance. I immediately clamped my legs tight around his waist, locking him in place. My fingers fumbled for his belt. What the hell, this stupid belt, I couldn't get it undone. Afraid he'd run again, I squeezed my legs tighter. Don't move, Caspian reassured me. His voice so deep it didn't sound like an idiot at all. Before I could understand what was happening, I heard a click. He unbuckled the metal belt with one hand. There's hope. The next second, Caspian pulled the belt free, tossed it right next to my face, and then leaned down, pressing his weight on me. That familiar feeling of being dominated. It was just like the old Caspian was back. Is it finally happening? I was so tense I squeezed my eyes shut. The next instant, Caspian suddenly grabbed my wrists. Squeezing so tightly I couldn't struggle free. I got scared. Gently. Before I could finish, he seized both my hands, pinned them above my head, wrapped his belt around them, and pulled it tight. He's tying me up. What is this? I stared wide-eyed as he looked down, his large hand grabbing my ankle, forcefully prying my legs from around his waist. Caspian. I was shaking with rage. He didn't even look up. He just put my legs down and turned and left. He left. He really left. He left me on the bed, hands tied. Nightgown bunched up to my thighs, collar all messed up. Is this something a human being does? He didn't look back once. He grabbed a pillow, grabbed his Ultraman, and walked straight into the bathroom. I frantically twisted my wrists. The more I twisted, the tighter the belt cinched, leaving a bright red mark. You bastard. You just wait. After struggling for ages, I finally got free. I jumped off the bed and charged the bathroom locked. Caspian, if you have the guts to hide in the bathroom, then have the guts to open this door. The bathroom door didn't move, locked tight as a vault. I frantically jiggled the handle until my own wrist felt dislocated. Useless. I was so mad I kicked the door. Thud. My foot swelled up. The next morning, my best friend Zara Ju asked me to meet at a cafe. I limped in, a faint, suggestive red mark still circling my wrist. Zara almost clapped. Wow. You two play rough. I gritted my teeth and grabbed her head. He tied me up and then ran into the bathroom to sleep in the tub, clutching that damned Ultraman. Zara couldn't help it. She clapped her hands and laughed. Caspian is really cruel. To himself. A girl like you, right in front of him, and he holds back to go play with Ultraman in a bathtub. He must really be an idiot. Zara started analyzing. Wait until his brain heals and he remembers what he missed. He's going to slap himself silly. I laughed coldly. I don't know if he'll remember, but I just wanted to kill him last night. Zara took a sip of coffee, trying to hide a laugh that sounded like a hidden knife. So what's your plan? Giving up. Giving up is not an option. I raised an eyebrow. That's 300 million. Zara clinked her coffee cup against mine, full of appreciation. Ambitious. But what if he hides in the bathroom again tonight? What's your plan? Just hearing that made me angry. I'll smash that bathroom to pieces and see where he hides then. Zara looked at me like I was an idiot, clicking her tongue. So pathetic. She leaned in close, lowering her voice. Then join him in the bathroom. What else? I froze. Zara smirked, a grin like a devil leading me to a den of pleasure. Lock the door. The two of you, in there together. Let's see how he begs for mercy then. Her finger drew circles on the back of my hand, slow and suggestive. A couple's shower. There are so many fun things you can do in a bathroom. Zara's description was too vivid. My mind immediately painted the picture. A bathroom, steamy, Caspian in a white shirt, soaking wet clinging to his body, the lines of his abs faintly visible. Hiss. I sucked in a breath and gave Zara a thumbs up. You really know how to live. No wonder you sponsor all those boys with abs. Zara rolled her eyes at me. Give me a break. I introduced you to so many guys with six-packs and you rejected every single one. You wouldn't even add them on chat. Then she broke into that we're sisters, we get it grin. But I get it. Your man is top tier. That body, that face, he's worth 10 of them. No wonder you're picky. I was so riled up by Zara my heart was pounding. My fingers unconsciously stroked the rim of my coffee cup, my head filled with filthy thoughts. Water from the shower head tracing down Caspian's throat, his wet eyelashes clumped together. Him nibbling my ear, groaning hoarsely, Alara. Zara's voice pulled me back to reality. Get pumped. I'm rooting for you. Go for a total victory tonight. I felt like I'd been injected with adrenaline, full of fighting spirit. I downed the rest of my coffee in one gulp. Tonight, Caspian won't be able to escape. That evening, I slipped into the bathroom early, lying in ambush. Caspian had just finished his rehabilitation training and was escorted straight to my room by his bodyguards upon returning home. As soon as he entered the room, he made a beeline for the bathroom without a word. His practiced movements were almost heartbreaking. The bathroom door pushed open. Caspian, trying to avoid me, entered with light steps. Click. The sound of the lock turning had just echoed when I shot up from the bathtub, tilting my head to smile at him. Hi, hubby. Caspian froze on the spot, his pupils trembling. I stepped out of the tub, wearing only his white dress shirt. The hem barely reached my thighs, and it was already soaked, clinging to my skin. He whipped his head away, his entire body flushing red, not daring to look at me at all. He frantically jiggled the handle. Don't bother. I stepped out of the tub, my wet feet patting softly on the cold tile, my hips swaying as I slowly advanced on him. The lock. I broke it. I smiled like a villain, poking his tensed-up back. Caspian, you can't escape. This felt good, no wonder novels are always writing scenes about forceful seduction. Caspian turned, still not daring to look at me, his ears as red as blood. You're all wet. I licked my lips, smiling lightly. Soaked. His Adam's apple bobbed. He tried to dodge me, backing deeper into the bathroom. I wasn't in a hurry. Him backing up was even better. I reached out and turned on the shower. Cold water rained down, drenching Caspian's white shirt. The wet fabric turned transparent, revealing every line of his abs, every single one. Drops trickled from his jawline, over his collarbone and continued down. I swallowed. You're all wet now. Let me help you take it off. Caspian flinched, retreating quickly until his back hit the bathtub. The bathroom was too small, he had nowhere left to run. Through the mist, the corners of his eyes were flushed red. A wet lock of hair fell onto his forehead, looking lethally seductive. My animal instincts took over. I chuckled like a predator about to devour its prey. Caspian, just surrender to me. I was too cocky, not watching where I was going, and slipped on the water, my whole body falling backward. I flailed my arms, grabbing at nothing. I'm done for. If I hit my head on the floor, he and I would really be two halves of the same low IQ. How could two idiots staring at each other possibly complete the 300 million KPI? My heart nearly burst from my chest, but the pain never came. A pair of strong hands caught me firmly by the waist. I froze, looking up. I was met by Caspian's deep, dark eyes. Water dripped from his eyebrows, wetting his lashes, making him look both innocent and incredibly alluring. The cold water rained down, and we both started to feel chilled, but Caspian's hands on my waist were scorching hot. The warmth spread from where he touched, radiating through my whole body. They say the body's reactions are the most honest. He saw me fall, and his first instinct was to catch me. Does that mean he actually cares about me? Yo. I was about to speak when I suddenly realized I was pressed tightly against him. I looked down. Oh my god. The white shirt was plastered to him, his abs visible underneath. It was even sexier than if he were bare-chested. So worried about me. I smiled slyly. Wrapping my arms around his neck, my fingers lightly tracing his Adam's apple. He pressed his lips into a thin line. Just as he was about to speak, I stood on my tiptoes and kissed him. The moment our lips touched, his entire body tensed. I licked his lower lip lightly, and seizing the moment his breathing grew chaotic, I parted his teeth. My tongue gently swept across his upper palate. Zara had once said that was a sensitive spot. Sure enough, he let out a soft groan, his hands moving to push me away. I deliberately placed my bare foot on top of his, wiggling it slightly. Don't move, I'm about to fall. His ears turned bright red, but he didn't dare budge. Afraid I'd fall again, he let me do whatever I wanted. As the kiss deepened, he even started to respond, his lips beginning to chase mine, tangling with them, refusing to let go. Hape. His mind might be idiotic, but his body is very honest. I was ecstatic. My hands started to slide down to his stomach, my fingers tracing each muscle before drawing circles on his hips. Why are you so hot? He caught my hand, his palm enveloping it. His voice was husky and lethally seductive. You're the one who's hot. I was overjoyed. He's an idiot, but he still knows how to flirt. I was getting ready for the next move when my vision suddenly went dark. Damn it. It turns out I really was hot. I had a fever. Before I completely blacked out, the last thing I saw was Caspian's panicked face. And then, I felt my body being lifted into someone's arms. When I woke up, it was already bright. I was lying on the large, soft bed. The soaking wet white shirt from last night was gone. In its place was a soft, pale pink silk nightgown, clinging to my skin, dry and comfortable. Mrs. Wang was sitting by the bed and sighed in relief when she saw me open my eyes. Young miss, you're awake. I pushed myself up, my head still a little dizzy, my throat parched. I glanced around but didn't see Caspian. Right. He was probably at his rehabilitation session by now. The memories from last night flooded back the bathroom, the wet shirt, the hot breath, the sound of running water. Kisses and more kisses. My face immediately flushed red. Mrs. Wang. I said weakly, how did I get out of there last night? Mrs. Wang's expression didn't change. The young master kicked down the bathroom door and carried you out. Kicked down the door. He also called the family doctor. Mrs. Wang added. Oh. I dove under the covers. My ears burning. My life is over. Now the whole household probably knows the newlyweds were playing so rough in the bathroom they broke the door, and that one of them passed out with a high fever. I covered my face, my voice muffled by my hands. Then, who changed my clothes? When we entered the room. You were already wearing this set. I froze. That means Caspian changed me. My mind automatically conjured the image. Him, personally taking off my wet shirt, carefully drying my body, and then dressing me in the nightgown. Stop thinking about it. But wait, Caspian knows how to kick down a door, how to carry someone, and how to calmly call a doctor. Is that what an idiot does? He's clearly almost fully recovered. Looks like that rehabilitation is working very well. I clutched the blanket, alarms blaring in my head. I'm done for. My time is running out. If I can't sleep with him soon, once he's completely recovered, I'll really lose my chance. I have to seize this last window, make a desperate attempt to save the situation. It's unsalvageable. Zara was sitting on the rooftop of a high-end restaurant, shaking her head sorrowfully after I recounted the bathroom ambush. I immediately pouted, batting my eyelashes pitifully. Don't say that. It can be salvaged. You're my #1 strategist, you must have a way. Zara, please help me one more time. She gave me a look. You seduced him while soaking wet and he still didn't react. Is he gay? Actually, he did react. When I was hugging and kissing him, pressed up against him, I definitely felt it. That part was very spirited. But I was too embarrassed to say it. Zara saw my face flush bright red and sighed. Fine. I can't stand seeing my beautiful darling being mistreated like this. She crooked her finger, signaling me to come closer, her expression mysterious. Come here, I'll teach you a trump card. I leaned in. Zara whispered in my ear. I can't hear you. She whispered again, louder. I still can't hear you. Zara shouted. The entire restaurant went dead silent. The man at the next table dropped his fork. Clang. Zara, completely unfazed, continued, give him some kidney toning supplements. To nourish his body. Everyone around us exchanged knowing glances, but no one pressed the issue. That evening, in the honeymoon suite, I clutched the small vial Zara had given me, my palm sweating. Is this stuff going to kill him? I was still nervous, my hand shaking so badly as I texted her that I almost threw the vial away. Zara replied instantly. Relax. The one who's going to die is you. She sent a wicked grinning sticker. If he gets going, you won't be getting out of bed tomorrow. You might just pass out. My hand shook so hard I nearly spilled the potion. Okay, reduce the dose. 300 million and a hot guy are tempting, but my life is more important, right? I snuck into the bedroom, quietly took the glass of lemonade Mrs. Wang had left on the nightstand. Just 1/3 of the vial, no, 1/5 should be enough. At the last second my conscience kicked in, forget it. A forced encounter won't be sweet. I was just about to put the vial away when a deep male voice suddenly came from behind me. What are you doing? My hand jerked. Splash. The entire vial emptied into the glass. I'm doomed. This dose is enough to have him rolling me around in bed for 3 days and 3 nights. I spun around in a flash, shielding the glass with my body, forcing a smile. No. Nothing. Caspian narrowed his eyes, his gaze landing on the glass behind me. The lemonade I had so thoroughly enhanced. Oh, he replied noncommittally. I clutched the glass, turning to make a dash for the bathroom. I had to dump this deadly concoction. But Caspian was faster. He grabbed my wrist. Why are you running? He raised an eyebrow, glancing at the glass in my hand. Did you make that for me? Caspian was addicted to lemonade, he drank it instead of coffee. It was refreshing and harmless. Except, this particular glass was very harmful. He looked unusually alert today. His slightly raised brow and searching gaze made me panic. Don't tell me his brain is completely healed. I quickly blurted, no, I made it for myself. But you've always hated sour things. He stared, his voice suspicious. I stood my ground. Well, I like it now. Is that a problem? Is that so? He chuckled softly. Then you drink it. Drink your. I shook my head like crazy. No. His dark eyes bored into me, so intense it gave me goosebumps. But you just said you like it. It's my first time making it. I didn't get the measurements right. It's too sour. I don't want it anymore. I pretended to be upset. I'll just go dump it out. In the next second, he snatched the glass from me. He tilted his head back, his Adam's apple bobbing, and drained it in one go. Not sour. He drank it all. I froze, my mind completely blank except for one sentence. I am finished. Caspian licked his lips, laughing lightly. I just drank a glass of your lemonade. Do you need to look like that? Yes, absolutely yes. Tonight either you die or I die. I immediately turned off the overhead light, leaving only the dim, warm bedside lamp on. Time for sleep. I dove under the covers, pulling them over my head like an ostrich. Once I'm asleep I'm safe. Probably. Caspian lifted the covers and lay down. The mattress dipped beside me. I held my breath. This was the first time we'd ever shared a bed. A moment later Caspian threw off the covers, his voice husky. Alara. Hot, he's not just hot, he's about to burst into flames. I was too terrified to speak, I wanted to run but I couldn't. Maybe the AC is too high, let me fix it. I mumbled, scrambling out of bed to adjust the thermostat. My hands were shaking like I had Parkinson's and I punched the temperature down to 15 degrees. When I turned back, Caspian had sat up. In the warm yellow light, he sat on the edge of the bed, his Adam's apple bobbing hard, the corners of his eyes flushed red. Sweat trickled from his temples, down his collarbone, and disappeared into his still, hot collar. Caspian reached up and undid the buttons of his pajama shirt. The fabric slid down, revealing a firm chest and defined muscles. His eyes were locked on me, fierce as a wolf's, predatory and full of desire. My heart hammered. I'd brought this on myself, and I had to see it through. I crept closer, pressing my cold hand to his burning cheek. Does this help? He seized my hand. Elira. His voice was raw as he growled my name, like he was barely holding on. The sight of him, tormented by desire, was impossible to look away from. My eyelashes trembled. I couldn't stop myself from bowing my head and lightly kissing the back of his hand. My lips brushed over his raised knuckles. I looked up, biting my lip, my voice trembling. Caspian, do you want me? He seemed to be in a daze, his eyes unfocused. Still trying to push me away. No, I can't. I pushed him down, my palm scalding hot. Oh yes you can. The next second the world flipped. He suddenly pinned me to the bed. One hand cradling the back of my head, and his kiss was fierce and devouring. His tongue parted my lips, tangling with mine until I was breathless. His fingers threaded into my hair. Tilting my head back to meet him. He caught my strap between his teeth, pulling it down inch by inch. His hot lips slid from my collarbone, lingering at my neck. My whole body went weak, my nails digging into his back muscles. Alara. He murmured my name, his breath heavy with desire. That potion was terrifying. He was like a different person. Where was the cold, ascetic Caspian? This was a starving, feral beast, driven only by the need to possess. I couldn't help but arch into him. Alara. Caspian called my name again and again. Because his mouth was busy, the words were muffled and indistinct, which only made me blush harder. He kissed me until I was boneless, but after that endless kiss, there was no next step. I impatiently opened my damp eyes to look at him. It's okay to continue. No. I don't have anything. I froze, instantly understanding. But I wanted to get pregnant. I wrapped my arms around his neck, whispering right into his ear, my voice soft and sticky. We don't need it. His entire body went rigid, as if he'd hit his limit. A second later, he bit down hard on my shoulder, and then he retched. He shoved me away and bolted for the bathroom. I was left alone, disheveled on the bed, with a clear, throbbing bite mark on my shoulder. I lay there, spread-eagled, staring at the ceiling, deep in thought. The air conditioner was making me cold, but my heart was even colder. The sight of me made Caspian sick. Right. Tears silently streamed down, soaking into my hair. The sound of water blasting in the bathroom was relentless. The potion was clearly so strong, yet he'd rather take a cold shower than touch me. Am I that disgusting to him? My heart felt like it was being squeezed, aching until it was numb. So, he really, truly hates me. The sharp pain in my chest was so strong I couldn't lie to myself anymore. I should have admitted it long ago. I like Caspian. I have for a very long time. I like the way he looks when he's frowning and serious. I like his perfectly neat shirt collars. I like how he handles everything with such calm efficiency. I even like his courage to stand up to his family. But I'm a coward. I only dared to get close to him while he was an idiot. Lying to myself that if I could just force the issue, he would finally see me. And yet, not even a potion could save me. I buried my face in the pillow, biting my hand to muffle the sobs. I cried until I had no strength left. Finally, I fumbled for my phone and sent my father a text. I want a divorce. I don't want the 300 million, and I don't want Caspian anymore. I wiped my face, grabbed a random pile of clothes, and left the house without looking back, heading straight for the Meng family home. Half an hour later, in the Meng family study, my father smashed his teacup. Nonsense. Is this marriage alliance a joke? My eyes were red and swollen. Yes, I am being nonsensical, but I am getting this divorce. The more I spoke, the more pitiful I felt. Dad, you don't understand. Caspian, he really hates me. After I vented for a while, my father finally sighed, rubbing his forehead in defeat. Fine, a divorce it is. But we have to follow my procedure. He frowned. Wait for me to have the lawyers draft the agreement. For now, we keep this quiet. Both families are publicly listed companies. A divorce right after the wedding will raise suspicions and affect the market. Okay. I nodded, a bitter lump in my throat. This is it. After all, I tried everything I could. Caspian just doesn't like me. The next morning, Caspian came to the Meng family villa. Standing in the morning light, his sharp features were devastatingly handsome. The butler tactfully withdrew, clearing all the staff from the living room. It was just him and me. I clenched my fists, fully prepared to be firm, but the second I saw him, my eyes started to sting. Lara, he called my name, his voice hoarse. He raised a hand to wipe away my tears. I turned my head to avoid him. His fingers froze in mid-air, hesitated, then slowly lowered, a flash of pain in his eyes. As the divorce for real, I scoffed. Don't pretending to be an idiot, your head's all better now. There's been a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding, I snapped. Wasn't your reaction last night clear enough? You're that disgusted by me. Isn't a divorce exactly what you want? His face went pale, his lips white. It's not that I hate you, ah. If you don't hate me, why did you throw up? If you don't hate me, why did you choose a cold shower over touching me? I was afraid you'd get pregnant. He cut me off, his voice raw. I laughed harshly. And you say you don't hate me? He swallowed, his eyes red. Last night, I was really losing my mind. But, the moment I touched you, I thought of my mother. I froze. Caspian's mother had passed away long ago. His voice choked, as if he was suppressing powerful emotions. My mother was injured giving birth to me. The second time she got pregnant. It was a difficult labor, and she didn't make it. My heart clenched. He had never mentioned this before. Last night, I was so afraid the same thing would happen to you. My nose stung, and my voice softened. Then why didn't you say so? Why didn't you stop me? The drug was too strong. By the time I could get out of the bathroom, you were gone. He gave a bitter laugh. I went to the hospital for an IV drip. My fever only broke this morning. I sent you so many messages but you blocked me. I tried calling, but the line was always busy. I rubbed my nose guiltily. I had blocked him in my rage last night, and then spent 3 hours crying on the phone with Zara, cursing him. He took a step forward, his fingertips lightly brushing the back of my hand. Alara. He looked down at me, his eyes almost pleading. Can we talk through this misunderstanding? Can we not get a divorce? The great young Master Lu, speaking in such a humble tone. This was a first. I took a deep breath, and finally asked the question I had held in for so many years. Caspian. Do you even like me? He looked down, not answering immediately, as if weighing his words. My heart sank, bit by bit. Of course, just as I expected, I turned to leave, but he grabbed my wrist. I don't like you. His voice was low. The next second, he pulled me hard against his chest, his hot lips right against my ear. Lara Meng. My heart, which I thought had frozen solid, was suddenly flooded with warmth, a miracle. The man I had loved one-sidedly for so long. It turns out he loves me too. Honestly, I wasn't angry anymore. The corners of my mouth kept trying to curl up and I had to force them down. I couldn't let him know I was this easy. So you love me? I tried to ask sternly. Then why did you refuse the marriage alliance at first? Caspian's arms tightened around my waist. I thought you had someone else in your heart that you didn't want to marry me. He's turning it back on me. What nonsense are you talking? I was so mad I stomped my foot. Besides you, who else would I? I froze. Wait, wasn't that a confession? Caspian's eyes lit up but then, as if remembering something, they dimmed again. You and Zara. You're always surrounded by men, you smile so happily with them. I faltered. Okay, I do smile happily. I poked him in the chest. I just like a lively atmosphere. It doesn't mean I like them, you're jealous of that. Caspian pulled me tighter, nuzzling his face into my neck, his voice deep. Yeah. I couldn't help it, let's not get divorced. Okay. His hot breath fanned my neck. We'll see how you behave. My words were tough, but my body had already snuggled into his chest. Remembering his father's promise, I looked up at him. So, should we have a baby? Caspian shook his head, a rare moment of sweetness in his voice. I love you, not to create another life, but simply because it's you. My heart tingled. I teased him, but your dad said he'd give us 300 million for a baby. I'll give you all my cards. It's more than 300 million, my eyes lit up. Really? Then what's the password? Your birthday? I froze. He looked at me with such deep eyes. It's been that way since you turned 18. My heart skipped a beat. This bastard, he's been in love with me since then. Caspian. I cupped his face whispering, since high school, or even earlier. His ears turned red. He bowed his head and kissed me, stopping my questions. When the kiss ended, our foreheads touched. He whispered, yeah. That day. Before my father even had time to draft the divorce agreement, I had already made up with Caspian and returned to our honeymoon suite. The moment I opened the door, I smelled the faint scent of body wash in the air, mixed with a vague, indescribable ambiguity. The bathroom door was slightly ajar. as if drawn by a spell. I gently pushed it open and froze. My dark red silk robe was lying in a rumpled heap on the edge of the bathtub, as if it had been clutched tightly. I suddenly understood something, and my face flushed bright red. So, last night in the bathroom, you were using my robe. He didn't deny it. He'd done something so bad, yet his face was completely calm. Mem. I immediately changed the subject. When did your head fully recover? Caspian chuckled softly. On our wedding day. My ears turned so red I could have fried an egg on them. You bastard. You've been pretending to be an idiot this whole time, just to watch me jump around and try to seduce you. My mind instantly replayed every stupid trick I'd pulled, snatching the Ultraman, the seductive nightgowns, crawling across the bed to feed him yogurt. The bathroom, the lemonade, the potion, it was so humiliating. He laughed, his hot breath tickling my ear hot and itchy. Can you perform it all again, in your dreams? The next second, the world spun. He picked me up and tossed me straight onto the bedroom. I was wrong. It wasn't that he didn't know, he knew exactly what he was doing. The bedside drawer opened. He pulled out a brand new one, tearing it open with his teeth. As our lips and tongues tangled, a hazy thought crossed my mind. Just how many of these did this bastard stock up on? One after another, we just kept using them. The next morning, I showed up to meet Zara, my body covered in hickeys. She stared at the red marks on my neck and laughed coldly. So, this is how you two discussed the divorce. We discussed it. But the discussion failed. I shyly ducked my head, pulling my collar up a bit. Zara Atskid, poking me in the forehead. You've got some nerve. Didn't you say he was a devil, and you wouldn't go back even if he begged? He is a devil. I didn't dare finish the thought. Because after he begged, it was my turn to beg. Begging until the bedsheets were completely wrinkled.